A ground robot costs less than $20,000 to build. A frontline Ukrainian soldier costs $2,500 a month to pay, and that figure does not include training, equipment, food, or the irreplaceable human life behind the uniform. In 8 months, the robot becomes cheaper than the soldier. In 12 months, it has saved more than it cost. In April 2026, Ukraine deployed a combination of ground robots and unmanned aerial vehicles to capture a Russian defensive position, take the soldiers inside prisoner, and seize the territory they occupied, all without a single member of the Ukrainian infantry present. No human beings were put at risk. No casualties were sustained. The position was taken. This is not the future of warfare. It is the present. And Ukraine built it in the middle of a war. Before this operation can be understood in doctrinal terms, the engineering behind it needs to be established. Ukraine's ground robot program did not appear in 2026. It has been built across years of incremental development, battlefield testing, and rapid iteration under conditions that no peacetime defense contractor has ever faced. The result is a force that is now scaling at a rate that would have seemed implausible 2 years ago. In November 2025, 67 Ukrainian military units were using ground robots for logistics missions. By March 2026, that number had risen to 167 units, an increase of roughly 150% in 4 months. According to Euromaidan Press, this expansion of deployment directly explains why robot mission counts tripled across the same period. The machines did not get dramatically more capable overnight. The infrastructure to deploy them at scale simply caught up with the technology that already existed. The mission numbers tell the story. Ukraine's frontline robots completed approximately 9,000 missions in March 2026 alone. In November 2025, the equivalent figure was 2,900. According to Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrskyi, robotic complexes performed 50% more tasks in March than in February. That rate of increase is not a spike. It is a trend line that has been consistent ever since Ukraine began systematically integrating ground robots alongside its unmanned aerial vehicle forces. Syrskyi also confirmed that Ukraine's UAVs caused 29% more enemy losses in March than the previous month. The two systems, aerial and ground, are not operating in parallel. They are operating as a combined arms formation, each compensating for the other's limitations and multiplying each other's effectiveness. The April operation confirmed what this combined arms approach looks like in practice. According to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, reporting on April 13 from the office of the president, Ukrainian forces used ground systems and drones exclusively to take an enemy position, accept the surrender of the soldiers stationed there, and complete the operation without infantry and without casualties. The systems involved include platforms from Ukraine's growing catalog of named ground robots, among them the Volya, Termit, Ardal, Ratel, Protector, and Snake, all of which Zelenskyy specifically acknowledged. The exact location has not been confirmed, though available evidence suggests it occurred in the south, where Ukraine has been conducting sustained counterattacking operations since late January, reclaiming approximately 480 square kilometers of territory in the process. Quick note, you're watching Defense Wire. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. The precedent for this operation was being built for over a year before it succeeded at this scale. In January 2026, DevDroid, the manufacturer of the droid TW7-62 ground robot, released video evidence of 3 Russian soldiers surrendering to their platform, an AI-equipped robot operating without a direct human operator present at the point of contact. In March, video emerged of 4 Russian soldiers surrendering to a drone equipped with a loudspeaker broadcasting surrender instructions. As far back as August 2024, an individual Russian soldier, abandoned by his unit, surrendered to a drone that he initially expected to kill him. Each of these incidents was operationally isolated. None resulted in territorial gain. The April 2026 event is different in kind, not just degree. It is the first time that unmanned systems have both accepted a surrender and simultaneously retaken the territory those soldiers occupied. That is, a complete infantry mission executed without infantry. The engineering enabling this is advancing on multiple fronts simultaneously. On the aerial side, Ukraine's Hornet FPV drones, reported on April 14 by United 24, media have been equipped with automated targeting systems that allow them to identify and strike Russian targets without real-time operator input. Ukraine is now fielding approximately 30% more strike drones on the front lines than Russia. UAV manufacturers are producing at a rate of 4 million units annually as of the end of 2025, with capacity projected to continue rising as partner funding and international robotics sales increase. On the ground side, 280 dedicated companies are producing the ground platforms that Ukraine is now deploying at scale, according to the interpreter. Those platforms are transporting hundreds of tons of supplies per month, in addition to their growing offensive and rescue roles. Russia has no equivalent industrial ecosystem, but Ukraine's story is not exceptional. It is the rule of what happens when a defense industry is forced to innovate under existential pressure with a clear operational requirement. The pattern is consistent across every domain Ukraine has contested. It builds faster than Russia can adapt, iterates faster than Russian procurement can respond, and scales faster than Russian electronic warfare can counter. The one genuine vulnerability in Ukraine's robot strategy is electronic warfare. Russian EW systems force monthly software updates across Ukraine's robotic platforms, and modifications are sometimes required when systems arrive at frontline units. But as foreign policy noted on April 13, larger kill zones driven by drone and robot coverage are a problem Ukraine is genuinely pleased to have. The further Russian infantry must travel through drone-saturated terrain before reaching a Ukrainian defensive position, the fewer of them arrive. The doctrinal implication reaches well beyond Ukraine's immediate operational needs. Andriy Beletsky, commander of Ukraine's 3rd Army Corps, has stated that robotic systems could reduce frontline infantry requirements by 30% by the end of 2026. In longer projections, up to 80% of the missions that previously required soldiers could be executed by UAVs and ground robots. These are not theoretical figures. They are derived from current operational data on a live battlefield, and they are being observed by every major military in the world. The economic argument is as compelling as the operational one. A ground robot at under $20,000, deployed across 9,000 monthly missions, represents a cost per mission figure that no soldier-based force can match. The calculation is not merely financial, it is strategic. Ukraine has approximately 2 million citizens currently wanted for evading mobilization, according to available reporting. The manpower constraint is real. The robotic solution is not a workaround. It is a structural answer to a structural problem, and it is producing results on the battlefield faster than any conventional solution could. What Ukraine has built is not a supplement to conventional warfare. It is the architecture of a new kind of conflict, one in which the side with better engineers, faster iteration cycles, and more flexible industrial capacity defeats the side with more soldiers. Russia entered this war believing that mass would win. It has 700,000 soldiers inside Ukraine. It is losing to software updates, $20,000 platforms, and an automated targeting system that does not need to sleep, does not need food, and does not need to be told what it is fighting for. The question that every defense establishment in the world is now asking is not whether robotic warfare will replace conventional force. The April 2026 event answered that. The question is how fast the transition happens and which militaries are prepared for it when it does. If you want to understand the drone architecture that made this robot operation possible, check out our breakdown of Ukraine's 3-layer aerial strike system. And if you want to see how Russia's manpower strategy is collapsing under the weight of Ukraine's automated forces, our analysis of the Donetsk crisis will show you where the attrition war is heading. Subscribe to Defense Wire so you never miss what comes next.